What's up, Danksters? Welcome back to a brand new video. Growing up in the early 2000s, the most popular handheld was Nintendo's DS lineup. Everyone I knew had a DS, and it was pretty hard to go anywhere without seeing at least one. I did end up getting my own DS a little bit later down the line, as you can see right here, and yeah, I didn't have a DSi sticker, but Nintendo Power, or whatever magazine of Nintendo was doing at the time, had a Nintendo 3DS Mario Kart 7 sticker, so I kind of just slapped that right on my DS, and got a Skylander sticker too, because a friend at the time gave me that. One Christmas morning, I would unwrap my very own DSi, and I was ecstatic. I absolutely loved this thing. I remember seeing the DSi be advertised a lot, and I remember a friend coming over to my house and showing me his, and seeing that there was a camera on this DSi just blew my mind. So you know your boy had to pick up his very own DS. I gotta brag about something. It was also pretty cool that the DSi was functionable with every single DS game, so that meant Mario 64 DS on the big screen. I mean, hey, the DSi was so popular it even got its own DS games. Sure, they might have been only 6th release in America, but hey, they sure did have their own games, didn't they? Also, just a real quick touch up on these, I kind of like how these cases are designed. They kind of remind me of 3DS cases, but thicker, like a DS case. It's like a hybrid between a DS and a 3DS case. It's pretty cool. And yes, my copy of System Fallout is sealed, because, you know, I'm just a hardcore gamer. What is it? Sure, the camera was cool, and sure, the DSi had its own library of games was cool, but the coolest feature to me, and I'm sure to a lot of other people, was Flipnotes Studios. As a kid growing up, I always wanted to become an animator. And now that the DS has an animation app for me to get started with that dream, I ended up working at a pottery factory. But I'm okay. Oh yeah, Flipnotes Studios. Man, just booting this up is bringing back memories. So what exactly is Flipnotes Studio? Well, you know how people would take those sticky pads and start drawing stick figure animations on it, or sometimes even really impressive shit that you're like, dude, you didn't have to go that hard. Well, that's kind of what this app is. This is pretty much a digitalized version of that. But now if you can digitalize that and add some tools, well, then you would get Flipnotes Studio. Creating Flipnotes was so fascinating to me because at the time there was a huge creator community scene and I desperately wanted to be a part of that. I just always seen it as something a bit bigger than what it actually was. Now sure, when it came to me animating, well, I wasn't exactly great at it. I did dabble my hand in my own animations. Like I said, I wanted to be an animator, and this kind of did help me in a sort of bit of a way. You know, I'm glad I made these, but at the same time, they're kind of cringe looking back at them. Even though I'm not really a fan of the series, I just felt like a Nintendo title should have been my first Flipnote, I guess. And so the first one I did was a Legend of Zelda cartoon about Navi being annoying to Link. And as you can see, that the art here is not really good. I didn't really have an idea of scale or anything like that. But obviously I was trying, I was giving it my best. And even though they are cringe, I have fondness to them because I made them. This is younger me, and some of them have my voice from back then, which is really surreal to hear. I'm really happy to have that. It's like digging up an old relic. And then, you know, once you make your Zelda cartoon, you know, the next logical step, at least to me, was to make a Shaun of the Dead Flipnote. So, yeah, the national progression of things. And I guess another classic of mine, Bob the Mutant Potato. I actually did like 3 of these. I really just messed around here on the app, trying a variety of things, seeing what stick, what I could do, and what interested me at the time. I have a lot of unfinished Flipnotes too, just because I got bored of them and moved on. But over time, you can start seeing I was getting a bit better, like here in this Sonic one that I fully did by myself, and I was really happy with it. Over time, I did get a little bit better at Flipnotes, but nothing amazing, of course. Now, if you want to talk about amazing, holy shit, the community for Flipnotes was insane. Now, your DSi could actually go on the internet, and Flipnotes actually had an internet option where you could see tons of people's posted Flipnotes, included your own if you posted any. I'm of course talking about Flipnote Hatena. I was on this all the time. I really enjoyed seeing other people's Flipnotes. They inspired me to make mine even better. And all of these Flipnotes you could access, you could download them to your Flipnote application and watch them whenever. And because of that, I have like 4 folders full of Flipnotes on this SD card. Some from when Flipnotes was at its peak, and some when the fan-made server was up, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I remember I had a friend back when the DS was big, and we would both be addicted to Flipnotes, and he would bring over his his Flipnotes to my house or to whoever we were hanging out, and I would take his SD card and start downloading the Flipnotes to my system, because you had a system storage and an SD card storage, and I'd take all the Flipnotes off his SD card that I wanted and copy them over to my system memory. And that's kind of just how I did things to get Flipnotes, and it was a little shortcut for me. It did take longer though, but hey, it worked. However, watching these Flipnotes, at least the early day ones, are really rough, because it is a bunch of 2012 random humor. As you know, that was the humor at the time. What a simpler place. And I mean, it does make sense that I would have them on this DS. I mean, I did own the DS around the 2012 era, so I mean, whether they are good or bad, the nostalgia is what keeps me coming back, because at the time, I really did enjoy every single one of these Flipnotes 100%. Now, some of them are a bit cringe to watch, but I can still appreciate them because they remind me of an era that is now gone. I was always amazed seeing what other people could do, and I hoped that I could accomplish something as great as that a little bit. And these Flipnotes, they would have audio that you would want, and that's why you could download them too. You could either keep the Flipnote, or you could have the audio and make your own Flipnote. So I did that with a couple of them, but there's only one I'm really proud of, and it was the Sonic Boom one I did, talking about Sonic, like reminiscent of the classic days, and I think it still kind of holds up today, and I'm just proud that I made it. Now, I do remember, if I'm correct, it's like 2017, like that era, a fan-made server popped up for Flipnote Hatena and unleashed Flipnotes back into the world to online after Nintendo has shut it down, unfortunately. I just gotta tell you, it's kind of surreal to see Undertale and Five Nights at Freddy's Flipnotes. Five Nights at Freddy's and Undertale come from a time where Flipnotes was discontinued, so to see this old thing make content of newer stuff is kind of mind-blowing to me. Now, if you know your way around the DSi, and you can get Flipnotes Hatena fan server still on your stuff. It still works to this day, I think, and hey, I mean, who knows of all the crazy shit people have made on Flipnotes now. I mean, now the year is 2023, and I was just talking about back in 2017. Imagine all the Flipnotes that came out now. All the bluey Flipnotes I'm missing out on. But I just want to say, if these fan-made servers stay up, then Flipnotes could last till the end of time, and there will never be a stop to it, and that's just kind of comforting to know, you know? Every once in a while, I will dig out my DSi XL, and I will go through Flipnotes, and I'll just browse them, because it's cool to see all these Flipnotes again. And hell, maybe sometimes I'll even take a crack at making another one, because at the end of the day, Flipnotes is still a pretty neat animation app. In fact, doing the rough outline to my cartoon, The Misadventures of Stuffy the Marshmallow Vampire, I actually did the animatic on Flipnotes Studio because it was just accessible to me and it was that easy to do it. And I got the point across and it came out to be a good cartoon, well, at least I think. Flipnotes is truly great, and if you experienced it like I did back in its heyday, then it was absolute peak. But just the fact that these fan servers are still online, meaning Flipnotes can go on. And that's really cool. So if you haven't, maybe dust that old DS off and boot up Flipnotes and see what the community is up to. Maybe relive a little of that nostalgia for yourself. Well guys, that's going to do it for me today. Did you guys have a DS growing up? Did you doodle in Flipnotes Studio? Did you just use it strictly to download other people's? If you've done all that, why don't you please leave a comment in this video talking to me about some DSi memories and stuff like that. I'd love to hear it, and I'll get back to you when I get to you. I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter, and those will be in the links down below. Please follow me. It would mean a lot to me, and I'm more active on Instagram than I am on Twitter, but please go follow both my socials for updates and just how I'm generally doing. And while you're down there, can I get you to hit that like button? Can we try to get this video up to 10 likes? That'll be much appreciated. And also, while you're down there, can I get you to hit that subscribe button and the bell for post notifications? Because I wouldn't want you to miss a single upload of mine, and it takes like 10 seconds, and I would greatly appreciate it. And like I said earlier, I have a Patreon, yes, and that will also be in the link down below. So if you want to consider donating or supporting the channel, it's there for you. You don't have to, but I would greatly appreciate it.